Throughout my life, I've had to be strong when I was weak. To be the man, you gotta be the man. I was bullied, I was picked on. I was just homeless, sleeping on the train in Brooklyn. Now, I'm on ABC Wild World Sports in front of millions of people.
Shannon, the Briggs!
I lose.
Big knockout.
Big loss, boom, I'm down. I'm embarrassed. I feel pretty much my career was over. My life was just in turmoil, and I'm like, I don't want to end it. I was piled on weight. I'm trying to feed the pain. And then my daughter was born. And I looked at her one day and I was like, that's it. I gotta get myself together, because if I'm not here to protect her, someone's gonna hurt this girl.
Let's go, champ.
I got a dream now. I set my mind on, I'm gonna do something. How do I lose 400 pounds? How? It's impossible. And I said, let's go, champ. I'm programming myself. You're a champ, Shannon, not for no boxing, because when you was 13 years old, homeless, you didn't jump in front of the train tracks. And it means I'm a champ, you a champ for the things that we didn't give up on. Find the inner champion. Find the things that you can grab onto that you feel good about. You gotta make a choice, champ. What you wanna do?
Let's go, champ! Let's go, champ! Let's go, champ! Let's go, champ!
They say that the human race is doomed, that we have lost touch with our true nature, that the media has corrupted us, and that the planet has no future. I disagree. I believe that humanity is full of hope, and that our salvation lies within each one of us. My name is Brian Rose, and my job is to listen, the oldest method of learning known to man. Each week I seek out individuals that are changing the world, people who are living and thinking in a different way. Their stories will challenge your beliefs, make you question your choices, and perhaps inspire you to change. I never planned on doing any of this, but now I can't stop. Join me on this mission and make humanity something we can all be proud of.
Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. I can't stop saying that after meeting with Shannon Briggs. He's such an inspiring guy. He's got such positive energy, and he travels the world these days trying to get little kids and old people to say that mantra, let's go, champ, because he wants them to get excited about who they are and what they do. And he's also looking to pick a fight. And whether you're Tyson Fury or David Haye or Deontay Wilder, he's looking to fight you because he wants another fight in the ring, but he doesn't need it. He's a businessman and he's a journeyman. He's been there and done that. He started off with his first career in the wake of Mike Tyson, 25 wins in a row, beat George Foreman for the title, came back again for another title, had a bloody war with Vitaly Klitschko. He's been there and done that. And during this conversation, we went really deep on his troubled past, growing up in Brownsville in Brooklyn, being evicted from his apartment when he was 13 and having his mother die of a heroin overdose at 25. Shannon has been there and done that. He's got a hard edge to him, but he's also got such a warm heart, and he's changed his whole game. He ballooned up to 403 pounds and then trimmed down to his current fighting weight, and he's back. And it's great to see him in here. I really hope we can get this fight for the champ. So if you know anybody that can get this man in the ring, whether it's in London or in New York City or in Vegas, let's get the champ one more fight, baby. Let's go, champ. And inside London Real Academy, we're making champs every day. Come on, champ, what you want to do? Yeah? You want to start a business, champ? Let's do that. You want to broadcast yourself? Come on, champ. You want to stand up in front of other people and speak publicly? Let's go, champ. That's what we do on the inside. We build champions over 8 weeks. Here's a bit more about what we do.
London Real doesn't stop when the conversation ends. You see, that's when we get started. Because everything begins with a thought, and then comes the action. The London Real Academy is our global transformation platform. Here we bring together thousands of students from over 75 countries. Whether you want to build a profitable business from your passion, or learn to speak to inspire, or broadcast yourself with your very own podcast, or accelerate your life to become a high-performance person, we have the online accountability course and personal mentoring program that will make your dream a reality. Join us, and we'll take your life to the next level, together. Our next accelerator course is starting soon.
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Shannon "The Cannon" Briggs, the former two-time world heavyweight champion boxer. You began your career in 1992 and were undefeated in your first 25 fights, and then went on to beat George Foreman for the heavyweight title in 1997. Today, you become synonymous with your mantra, "Let's go champ," which inspires and motivates people of all ages from around the world. Shannon, champ!
Let's go, champ.
Welcome to London Real.
Thank you for having me, Brian. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you being here. Talk to me about the UK, about being in London. It's almost like when you come here, you're almost like coming home. What's the vibe like? Why do you keep coming back here?
I love it, champ. I love it. I love the environment. The people here are great. It's just, I've never experienced anything like this in my life, to wake up every day and just go outside, not expecting anything to happen. And everyone's like, "Let's go, champ. Hey, what's up, champ?" And it's just a feeling that I've never experienced. And at my age, I'm 47,000 years old. And at my age, this is a good place for me.
Was it always that way when you came here?
Not in the beginning. I believe that when I first came, people were like, what's this crazy American doing over here? But, I think once they got to know me and see my story and hear what I'm about, and I came here looking for an opportunity to work with the people, to look for fights, because this is the boxing capital of the world right now. I mean, boxing began here in England, of course, and it's the hottest market for boxing in the world. So this was the reason for me coming here.
Why is it the hottest market here? Because we got football, soccer in America,
right?
But other than that, it's like boxing's kind of next, right?
I think it's like neck and neck with football, soccer. I believe, but maybe it's not. I just feel that way when I walk down the street and so many people are boxing fans. It's just amazing. I've never seen anything like this, and I say often that I should have came here much earlier in my career and established myself. But I'm happy to be here now. I still feel as though there's some time left on the clock, and I'm looking forward to just being here in England and fighting and having a great time.
It's the home of boxing. The rules were created here as well. Does it feel
fisticuffs.
Yeah, fisticuffs. Does it feel like a country that likes to scrap it out, but also likes rules as well?
Yes, I'm so impressed by just the average fan's boxing knowledge, and the acceptance of it here is just unreal. I mean, if you're a boxer anywhere around the world, you want to be here in England and establish yourself, get fights, and make a name for yourself, because they really, truly love boxing. I mean, you can see it from the children to even the women.
Yeah. And you see people like Joshua selling out these big stadiums at Wembley, and that kind of happens like it's kind of nothing, right?
Like nothing.
That's a big thing. That doesn't happen in the States, really.
Not at all. I think back at home in the States, we have a lot of competition between other sports. You have Major League Baseball, National Football League, so many different sports, hockey, tennis, just you can go on for days. And I think here it's a little different. Boxing began here. Again, there's soccer, football, but boxing's like right there, neck and neck, and they love the violence. But again, like you said, I think they believe in rules, and you can see a scrap in the street, and then they'll just straighten it out, and then shirts off, they have a straightener, and it's back to, hey, okay, let's go, champ.
Yeah, I mean, it must be in the culture if they develop those rules in the first place, right?
Yes.
Like saying, hey, we're going to fight, but it's not going to be, let's try to kill each other. It's going to be, you can't do this. And then people respected it and it became a sport.
I love it.
It says a lot about the culture, right?
It really, truly does. And I hope that America adapts that same mentality, because you see fights between people who go too far, whether it leads to a gun or a man stomping a man's head out. That's not necessary. If you have you straighten it out with a man, you shake hands afterward, it's over. But you get this mentality, I think, in America where it's like, I got to go to the extreme, and we don't have to do that, man. We all humans. Let's have a fight, and if we even have to have a fight, and just call it a day, you know?
Yeah, no, I hear that for sure.
Yeah.
Now look, the past few years, you've been showing up in this country and popping off, and you got people scared. I mean, you know, you've been showing up, calling David Hay out, you've been showing up here with Tyson Fury. I mean, feels like you got your own jet, and you're coming over here on freaking Flyer Miles. I mean, the last 4 years, you've been here, right?
So
you've been looking for a fight.
The champ can fly. You know, I'm a superhero, champ. But I just basically, I love it here. Again, like I said, it's just amazing. The culture, the boxing culture, the fans are great. It's nothing like it. Nothing like it around. I've never seen anything like this in my life, where you go to a stadium, like you said, you know, with Joshua fighting, you see thousands of people packed, boxing fans singing, drinking, having a good time. It's just amazing.
And what's been the reaction to fans when you came over the last few years and start challenging people, shouting out to people? I mean, I think even David Hay said, he's like, I kind of respect that, you know, because, but it's something they're not used to, right? We never really seen a guy come out from the crowd saying, let's go, champ.
Let's go, champ. That's right.
And so what was the reaction at first, and then did people get used to it?
Excuse me. At first, it was like, you know, it wasn't really no at first, champ, to be honest with you. I basically came over here. I went to, I got off the plane. I went to the Buckingham Palace with a camera, and I was like, you know what? I want to talk to the Queen. The police arrived. Old Bill arrived, and they said, "What are you doing here, champ?" Actually, they said, "We were expecting you. We heard you were coming." So it was pretty funny. We had a great laugh. You know, I didn't come over here to disrespect anyone. I came over here to show love to everyone and hopefully be accepted, and that happened. So I couldn't have wished for a better thing, for a better situation. I mean, the people who just accepted me, I love them. I got to be honest with you. It's not even just a like. It's the fact that my career has been extreme. I mean, it's been bipolar, extreme highs and extreme lows. It's been a roller coaster ride. So to come to a place where I'm accepted and loved, you know, it's just, I would never give this up. I mean, I'd be a fool not to live here.
And did they know what to make of you at first? So they're calling the police, and the other fighters are a little freaked out, champ. And then they're all, now no one knows who's going to show up. You might be showing up at Tyson Fury's press conference and David Hay's press conference. But now they're talking about your name. Some people say that you're a marketing genius.
Thank you. Thank you to those guys who say that. I'm just, I'm a guy, I'm hungry. I'm a family man. I have 3 children and a beautiful wife. I have to take care of them, and I'm a provider. I'm like the mailman, the postman. I get up every day and go to work, and my job is to provide. And in this business, unfortunately, I was never, at one point, I believe I was early in my career, you know, I was the guy that everyone was looking at. I had the manager, I had the promoter. Well, I didn't have a promoter, but I had a good manager, and he was behind me as far as pushing me. And then unfortunately, my train came off the track, and then at that point, I was on my own. I was 25, 26 years old, and I had to realize, I had to learn how to navigate in this business and survive, and call promoters, call managers, be told no, call matchmakers, and sometimes make my own fights and pay for my own fights. And I had to do a lot of things in the business to get where I am. So to be here today and to still be doing it, it's just my natural thing. I'm out here to work. I'm out here looking for opportunities. I'm looking to grow the brand. I'm looking to have longevity in the sport, whether it's promoting, helping fighters in the future, and really more so outside. What I would like to do is use boxing as a platform. And that's what I've always done. I've never really made a lot of money in boxing, but I've always used it for our platform, whether it's to get into movies or to get into other businesses outside of boxing. So what I like to do now is use this opportunity to give back to the people, because they give me so much love. I want to help the people out there who need it, like the homeless people, homeless kids suffering with parents who have substance abuse, something I endured growing up. My parents were addicted to drugs. So I want to give back in that way, because it's just to be alive and to be here. It's giving me a second chance at life, a fifth chance at life.
Well, you've had a few versions, you know. You had those early days, those 25 fights in a row.
Yes.
Then you came back again, you know, and fought Klitschko in 2010, and now you're kind of back again. You're like rising the phoenix from the ashes.
Look at him.
Look at him, champ.
Look at him, champ.
Now tell me about this phrase, "Let's go, champ," and the newest version of you, because the last 3 or 4 years, a lot of people know you now that didn't know you before. A lot of kids, I mean, they weren't even born when you were knocking guys out.
Right.
And so they know this guy with his shirt off, somewhere out in Florida.
Yeah, look at him.
Making smoothies, the beats going on in the background. Champ.
Let's go, champ.
You know, how did that guy get created? And how did you get to there from that brutal fight with Klitschko and going in the hospital for 2 weeks? And like, those are two extremes. How did you do that, Shannon?
Well, Brian, you know, it was again, like I said, after the 25 wins, the train went off the track. I was highlighted on HBO as the next superstar. I was knocked out in the 3rd round by Darryl Wilson. I suffered an asthma attack in the 1st round. After the fight, my trainer, Teddy Atlas, we split. I was pretty much on my own for the next few years, making fights here and there. I was able to come back again in 2006, win another heavyweight championship. And I went back underground for a while. After losing that, I fought a Bragamoff with pneumonia, lost the title, took some time off, and then I was like, I'm gonna give it another shot. And in doing so, I put together a little team of investors and boxing people, and that went off the track as well. I was taken advantage of. I wasn't paid for the Klitschko fight. I took a beating. In the 1st round, I popped my left bicep and my elbow joint popped, and I fought for 12 rounds. You know what I mean? So
how can a guy that doesn't have a heart fight for 12 rounds? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like the people that said that earlier about you, I mean, they can't look at that fight and say that.
Well, I've always in some ways twisted their thinking. Like when I fought Foreman, they were like, oh, well, Foreman won, it was a close fight. And then I fought Lennox Lewis, and I lost the lineal title to him, but it was a great showing in some people's eyes. To me, it wasn't. I lost, but
yeah, but you fought with a lot of heart, and you kept getting up off the mat when people thought you were out.
Yeah, but that's nothing. I mean, I never had lack of heart. To any man who can walk in that ring, any man that goes under those ropes got heart. He's got his mind set on, either winning or losing. And to go in there, it takes heart, because even in losing, you can get hurt. So it takes some sense of heart or craziness. I myself, I've had to be strong when I was weak all my life. I grew up with asthma. I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, same neighborhood as Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe. It's a legendary crime-ridden neighborhood, and me as an only child, no brothers and sisters, single parent, my stepdad was in and out. I had to learn how to fight early. I had to learn how to defend myself, and I was picked on. I was bullied. I was taken advantage of because I was asthmatic, and I didn't have a strong foundation of people to support me. So throughout my life, those struggles made me, little blocks. It were building blocks for the future. And that's why I'm here today, because those blocks got me here. And I don't regret anything. I wish I had to hit the lotto, but we all do. So I'm here, man. I'm rich in life, to be honest with you, champ. I'm rich in life because my spirit is so strong. My energy is so strong. Even when I sometimes doubt myself and I feel like, man, I just say, let's go, champ. I hear that voice, whispering, let's go, champ. So it's just natural.
And so walk me through what happened with Vitaly in 2010. You go 12 rounds with him.
Yes.
Hard rounds.
Yes.
Everything's busting up. You're tearing your bicep, throwing your shoulder out in the 1st round.
Yes.
I mean, later we would find out you had orbital bone broken, a fractured bone in your
Yeah.
But you powered through those 12 rounds. You were like, I'm here.
Yeah. It was my last opportunity. I felt it was my last opportunity. My back was against the wall. It was like, do or die for my family. I went in there, almost died, but I didn't. So I came out. I came home with like $36,000 in my pocket, and I pretty much figured my career was over. Everyone said it's over. And I was like, okay, I got a job a few months later.
And you were in the hospital for 2 weeks after
2 weeks
right?
in the hospital. But again, a lot of that stuff was hyped up based off, I think the papers, they wanted to make me look like I was destroyed. And, this has been a theme since I lost after winning 25 fights and I split with Teddy Atlas. It's been a theme in my career for writers and for the media to throw me under the bus. I've heard some nasty things about me. I've read things that would make any man cry, but just bad things said, because it was a whole push between people that was in the business that didn't like the fact that I was still finding a way. I couldn't give up because I don't have a second job. This is what I've been doing, Brian, since I was a kid, 16, 17 years old, So before that, I worked on a watermelon truck. I sold ice cream. I worked in a printing company, Meals on Wheels. But when I gave my life to boxing, that's it. I stopped doing anything else. I had dreams, aspirations of, going to college and becoming, possibly a lawyer. At one point, I wanted to become a preacher. But boxing was like, this is you. This is where you're going to make a living for yourself. And I started doing that. So I dedicated my life to that. A lot of people don't like that. They looked at me like, oh, who does he think he is? I'm going to make it regardless. So I've turned some people off in high places, and they've told me. They told me in 1996, you'll never get a fight on network television again. I was told that again in 2001 after I lost to Jamel McCline. I was told I'd never get a fight on network television again. And here I am talking to you right now. Let's go, champ. They can't stop me, Brian.
So they're always exaggerating points of your story to fit you in this narrative that makes it convenient for them to kind of overlook you.
Yes.
And yet you keep coming back and showing up on these big fights.
That's right. Night of the Living Dead. It's the champ. They can't stop him.
But after Klitschko, things did get tough.
Bad,
and you got depressed.
Severely.
And you're down at your place down in Florida, and you're getting up to 403 pounds.
Sheesh.
You got guns everywhere.
Oh man.
On some medication.
Bad.
And you're really thinking some dark thoughts.
Yeah, champ. I had, like I was saying, I apologize. I had got a job after the Klitschko fight, and I was working for an internet marketing company, and things were going well. I was happy to finally, be making some money, and I was thinking about my life in corporate America. And like, wow, okay, this is a new life for me. What are you gonna do? You're gonna be doing this now till you're 65. I believe I was like 37, 38. I was like, okay, this is it now. And it took me I had an office. I had a huge office. I was like, okay, I got an office with a window. And I was like, wow. So after about 3 or 4 months, they moved me to another office. No window, but it was huge. And then about another 3 months, I went to another office, which is smaller, with no window. And I was like, okay, what's next? I felt like that movie Office Space. But it was just, it's just, business world it moves very slowly opposed to boxing. I get up, I train, I know I got the fight coming up in 6-8 weeks. This was just like a different, coming to work every day. I got my tie on, and as I was doing that, Brian, I would go to work and have my lunch and breakfast in the morning, breakfast sandwich or whatever, lunch, and then after work, I'd go out with the guys to our happy hour, and we putting back drinks and stuff like that, and I started ballooning up, And then I was realizing, being in this environment that I wasn't used to, corporate America and the corporate world, where I was told, hurry up and wait. Like, we're gonna be doing this next week, next month, and we're gonna be doing this, and nothing was happening. And I was like, well, I really want to work. I'm used to working, so it was just like, hurry up and chill. So after a while, I just became depressed. I was a lot of thinking, sitting in an office from 9 to 5, sometimes 8:30 to 6:30, just really just doing nothing. I mean, I was like, wow, is this what people do in the office? They hurry up and do nothing. So I got really depressed, and then it was crazy. The owner of the company decided he wanted to get into boxing. And I was really against it because I had left the boxing world. I had went through so much pain in dealing with people trying to navigate and keep it going. And I was like, you know what, finally I got a great job. I'm making $120,000 a year. I'm going with the company, different places, to conventions, I'm like, wow, okay, this is okay, but I still had that go in me, that drive in me, once you, and again, as a fighter, if that's in you, it's in you. Nobody can take it out of you. You could be 80,000 years old, but if you want to fight, you want to fight. So it's been I think it's in my DNA. It's what I've been used to. So after a while, I was fighting with that. Like, man, I'm so bored. I'm so disgusted with life. And I was piling on weight. I was getting fat. I was just getting disgusted. And then the guy wanted to get into boxing. And in doing so, I was against it, but it happened. So I was like, okay, look, you're the boss. If that's what you want to do with your money, your time, okay, let's get into boxing. So we started doing boxing. And I also seen it as an opportunity, too, because I had been hired to work for the company to bring nutraceutical products to the company. That was my thing. I was always involved with nutraceuticals and business outside of boxing. I was the first and only athlete with Metrex. Are you familiar with Metrex?
Yeah, protein supplement. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I was with Metrex since 1992. Okay. With Dr. Conley. I was his first and only athlete. And then Dr. Conley wound up selling the company for $1.6 billion. I was like, ah. But if you look at all my early fights, I had Metrex on my trunks and my t-shirts and stuff like that. So I've always had, knowing Conley personally, going to his house, having spent time with him and listening to what he was saying and being the crash test dummy, trying it before anyone did. I seen there was a future in nutraceuticals and vitamins and supplements. So I've always dabbled with that in different businesses, real estate, different things. So I had came to this company to introduce products. I had James Fulton, who invented Retin-A. He died a few years ago, rest in peace. What's my boy name? Charles Hensley, he invented Zicam, which cuts the duration of a cold from like 7 days to 3. He was my partner as well. So I brought these people to this company to basically bring new products to the world. Basically, it was an internet marketing company. So it was phenomenal. They had a list of 80 million people they were allowed to send emails to. So I was like, great, no spam. We're gonna have customers. We're gonna make millions of dollars, $1 billion. I'm gonna be a billionaire. Let's go, champ. And unfortunately, the guy wanted to get into boxing. We started getting in boxing. Next thing you know, he was like, I want to meet Mike Tyson. I'm like, what? He's like, I want to meet Mike Tyson. So I called Mike Tyson. I was like, hey, Mike, I got a guy. He really wants to meet you. And he really wants, he's a fan. So Mike and Craig Boogie came into Florida and sat down with him. He loved it. He worked it out. Wrote him a check, $5 million. Let's go, champ. So now we're in the Mike Tyson promotions business, And then that's I think faded really quick because now he had Mike Tyson. You got the big man. You got, I'm just a little guy to Mike, in terms of career and all that. So that was a little push to me because I came to this business to make money outside of boxing. Now we're in the boxing business, and now I'm even pushed back to the side. So I didn't really, I kind of just played my position. Then it was to the point, Brian, where he was like, don't even worry about coming to work no more. Like, we had a little disagreement, and I was told not to worry about coming in. So I went home, and Friday, my check came. The following Friday, my check came. It was every 2 weeks, and I was like, wait a minute. We had these words, and we didn't speak, I'm gonna say, for like a year and a half, and I was still receiving this cash, and I was like, wow, what's going on? And then I was using the money to kill myself, personally. Like, now that I look back in retrospect, I was using the money to kill myself. I was basically like, I'd go out and buy like 2 boxes of Krispy Kremes, KFC, McDonald's, any type, just junk food, and I'd go home, and I had nothing to do. I wasn't training. I was already ballooned up in some way, and now I'm piling it on more. But now I'm trying to put myself into a diabetic coma. I'm trying to feed the pain, and this sweet jelly raspberry donut makes me feel happy for a second. Then I need something else. I need ice cream, so I'm eating butter pecan Haagen-Dazs ice cream like it's, I'm just forget about it, like it's hot soup. I'm just eating it, and I'm going through it, man. And my life was just in turmoil, and I'm like, I want to end it because I think what happened with me was my life when I was young. I put a lot of things in the closet. You know what I mean? Like my life, my pain. My mom died on my birthday. My stepdad, who raised me since I was 9 months old, he died in prison. And I was really close to them. So losing them the way I lost them, my mom had a heroin overdose on my birthday, heart attack, heroin overdose. My dad died in prison. We don't know what's going on. We haven't heard from him. And time. And then my mom is like, I think, she just said, I got a feeling. And I was like, nah, Ma, he's okay. And I never forget, I said, we got to find out. Because she was just, something happened. When you're with somebody so long, I guess there's a connection between, so you feel this. And I felt that with her when she died. So she's felt the connection. She said, something's wrong. Gene, something wrong with Gene. And I wound up calling the prison, Marcy Correctional Facility in upstate New York. And they said, we can't give out any information. I'm on the phone. I'm like, hey, look, this is Shannon Briggs. I'm so sorry. I don't want to. So we can't get out any information. So my mom in the background crying. Then I start crying. I'm like, it's my daddy, man. I just want to know. He said, the guy was like, look, man, I can't give you any information. He said, look, we love Priest. The priest that died. And I was like, what? And I said, Ma. And I didn't want to tell her. I said, Ma, he died. And I never forget, she stood on the bed. She stood on the bed and she started shaking and she was trembling. And I was like, Ma, she was standing on the bed and she was just standing on the bed. And I'm looking at her, Ma, get off the bed. She's like, no. And then that was a tough moment for us. That was a tough moment. So I lost her, I lost him, and then years later she wound up, you know, dying on my birthday. So that was a real tragic blow for me. So what I had to do was learn how to take those things, and put them in the closet,
right,
and hide them for now. And I think when I got older, and after the Klitschko fight, the punches I took, you know, to the head, I think those they took a lot out of me as well. Not from the standpoint of I had brain damage, but it just depressed me to take. I wasn't able to defend myself, and I really needed to win. I really wanted to win. I'm passionate about winning. I hate to lose. I feel like losing sometimes could be the worst thing ever happened to me, you know, because I've lost a few times, but then I say they're learning experiences, not losses, learning experiences. But after that fight, I got really bad on myself. I was really down, and then my daughter was born, and I was still a mess, but I was holding her every day. Every day, my wife would give her to me and say, "Here's the baby, here's the baby," and I was bonding with her. And I have 2 boys, but it was different with her. You know, first of all, she came out looking just like my mom. I was like, "What's going on?"
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, DNA. Wow, what's going on? You know, like she came back. So I was very happy, excited to have my baby, and I held her every day. Literally 364 days, Brian. I held her every day in my arm. My wife would just breastfeed her, give it to me. I give her the breastfeed, give it back to me. Bottle, whatever. And I would just hold her every day and watch television and talk to her. And I think at the time I was trying to, you know, maybe I'm a little crazy, but I was trying to like relay message to her. Like, I was still in a bad place. I was like, look, to her, my baby, kiss her all day, talk to her all day. And I said, I may not be here, you know, but I hope somehow you can remember these things I'm telling you and that you can somehow have a great life, you know? And I was like, and I felt like me leaving her at some point might have been a better choice than me staying, her seeing me as a POS, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow, what do I do? And then—
What kind of things are you telling her? What are you saying to her? Are you
just talking about my life and her life and how my mother sacrificed everything for me. Although she had a drug addiction, she loved her boy. You know, she called me her boy because I was the only child, you know, and she wasn't supposed to be able to have kids, and she had me. And she was like, this is my boy, my boy, my boy. And I was like, I just be talking to her, I don't know, babbling about life and kissing her and playing. You know, I call her Moo. I call her Moo Fat because she was a fat little baby. With Chinese looking eyes. So you Moo Fat. So
did you ever talk to her as if it was your mom?
All the time.
All the time. Okay,
Because I could see her.
Right.
And I believe for some odd reason that we come back and then we just forget everything and then we just go into our new life, you know what I mean?
I'm starting to believe that a little
I'm
too.
serious. There's some type of weirdness going on because it was some kooky stuff going on when this little girl was born.
And I think kids channel that somehow because until they get older, they don't know any better. No. So they're living, first of all, maybe they're living the previous lives. Maybe they're seeing things we can't see.
Brian, I'm telling you,
my 3-year-old son, I'm telling you, he knows stuff that I'll never know.
I'm telling you, Brian, if I could have recorded some of these things, even as she got older, 1, 2, 3, and things she said or did, I was like, this is weird, y'all. This is really weird. But people around me who knew her, who knew my mom, literally couldn't believe it when they came and seen her for the first time. My family members, they was like, and you know, without me even saying anything, I would just let them see. They'd be like, I'd be like, what's wrong? They'd be like, oh, nothing. And I'd be like, come on, be honest, what's wrong? They'd be like, I could have sworn I just seen Margie or felt Margie in the room. It was weird. So I went through that for a long time. And then one day, it was 364 days in, and I looked at her one day and I was like, that's it. I got to get myself together because if I don't, this little girl is going to be in a bad position in a few years. Someone's going to be taking advantage of her. Someone's going to have her in a position where she's not going to be able to be the best person she can be. You know what I mean? I was like, if I'm not here to protect her, someone's going to hurt this girl. I guess with my boys, I was a little bit more, we different, I think, one boy. I survived on my own, Brownsville, Brooklyn. They'll make it. Let's go, champ. You know, but my little baby girl, I was like, no way. I'm going to war for her. You know what I mean? I'm gonna fight my demons and do whatever I can. I had been doing research though, Brian, to be honest with you, about CTE, about, you know, what they call punch drunk and different punches. I was just thinking, why am I so depressed? Why am I so depressed?
CTE is that kind of thing with a lot of NFL players have been hit with, which is that chronic brain damage. They can't examine until after you're dead, but they're finding some of these autopsies with these suicidal guys that seem to have led from those blows to the head, right?
Yes, 100%.
So okay, so you're researching.
I'm researching, champ. I was fortunate to have a mom who really wanted me to be an educated person. I was never good at math, but I could read my behind off. Nice. I went to Lutheran school, so I was reading the Bible constantly from first grade to 8th grade. I went to Lutheran school. Then I went to Catholic high school, so I was well versed in laws, religion, reading. Math was never my strong point, but I was a comprehensive reader. I was doing research on what's going on with me. And then I was realizing that there was a lot of things with my past that I didn't deal with: insecurities, low self-esteem, having asthma, not having a lot of experience in boxing led to me jumping fast into big positions. I mean, 10 fights, I'm on a USA team. I'm fighting 18 fights, I'm fighting Felix Savone, 4-time world champion, 2-time Olympic, champion. I'm like, whoa, I'm on ABC Wild World of Sports in front of millions of people. I was just homeless a few months ago, sleeping on the train in Brooklyn, sleeping in abandoned cars, trucks, wherever I could sleep, on your couch if you let me. Now I'm on TV, Wild World of Sports, the whole world watching me. I lose.
Big knockout.
Big loss. Boom, I'm down. I'm embarrassed. I'm like, wow. I had somewhat of a concussion because I didn't even know the fight happened. I really didn't remember the fight. I was going back to after the fight, we were on the bus, and I told a friend, I was like, yo, this is the longest ride ever. When we gonna get there? And he was like, what? I was like, man, you're taking forever. He was like, man, you fought. I was like, what? He was like, yo, he fought. He didn't even know he got knocked out. I was embarrassed. Wow. I was like, no, I was just joking. I literally had to watch it. I was like, okay, for all the playback, where Castro put the medal on me and everything. I was like, whoa, this boxing thing is dangerous. So I've always known how rough and dangerous the sport is, but took the risk because I had to.
Right.
I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to feed my family. It wasn't a choice. I had to go fight these people. I had to fight Foreman. And I didn't have experience. I didn't have no experience. I didn't have no confidence. So I never had anyone, Brian, to pat me on the back and say, great job growing up. I was told, you ain't nothing. You ain't never gonna be nothing. From other people. My mom loved me, but she loved me so much that people became jealous. I was her little boy, so I got brand new sneakers. Christmas came, I didn't get one bike, I got 2. You know why? Because I might want a different color. Racing tracks, comic books, computer games. I was saying that to say, I had a Commodore 64, a Radio Shack TV in 82, 83. So my mom was teaching me how to type ASDF. JHKL semicolon, right? Am I correct?
Me too.
Right. So I was
we're the same age, man.
Let's go
I
check.
had Apple II computer. I was doing the same thing.
Yeah, I was working. So as a kid, so now I get older, I'm doing my due diligence on what's wrong with me. What's wrong with you, Shannon?
Most people would see Shannon Briggs, at 25 years old, this massive chiseled guy with the dreadlocks, and say that guy doesn't have a low self-esteem problem.
Oh man.
But that's a common mistake when it comes to fighters, right?
Yeah, true.
Because you got all sorts of demons locked up in there.
Yeah.
And you're fighting them out sometimes in the ring, or you're putting them in the closet, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that in itself, what people didn't know about me was hurting me more and more, because I wanted to talk to someone and say, look, y'all see I'm fighting, I'm doing my thing, but I'm really, really nervous. I'm really, really scared. I really, really need time to develop myself. But it wasn't no time. It was like, get in there. I believe in the beginning, Teddy Atlas was the first and only person to really notice that. He was like, you got a lot of talent, but it's not what people think. You're a talented, skillful fighter. You do very well, you're fast, and you don't have the confidence. And I was like, okay, but I gotta do what I gotta do. And he was like, yeah, and I think instead of building up my confidence, I think he kind of was like playing with it like a puppet, It was like, okay, I need you to be strong, so be strong now. And now I need you to be weak so that you know that when you're strong, it's because of me. And that was the riff back and forth. I'm like, yo, I had to be strong, but with him, I had to, okay. And it was bad for my self-esteem.
Do you think he thought that was the best way forward somehow?
I think that was the way he was taught. maybe from the custom auto school.
Right.
And it was about controlling the fighter, controlling the mindset, making them stronger, but also being able to pull like a remote control. And
that didn't jive with you.
Nah, not coming from my background. Unlike Mike Tyson, who went to Catskills at 13 years old, I believe earlier, 13, 14.
They could kind of mold his personality.
Right.
You were thrown out of your house at 13. Your whole world changed at 13. And you were sleeping on the streets and everything crumbled around you.
Right.
And later you found boxing.
Right.
So you're a completely different psychological being.
Different animal.
And with your career, it was like you had to be there right then. We need you to fight now. You got to be the show.
Now.
And that's it.
You the star, by the way. I'm like, what? You the star. I'm on ABC Wild World of Sports. You got guys on my team with hundreds of fights, superstars, but you know, I got the personality, I got the look, I got the dreadlocks. It's like, okay, this guy's he's got energy. Look at him, he ain't scared. I'm not gonna show you I'm scared. I'm from Brownsville. You know what I mean? And if I show you I'm scared, you're gonna take my shoes. If I show you I'm scared, you're gonna take the money in my pocket. If I show you I'm scared, you might literally rape me. I'm talking not in jail. You might rape me in the street. You might rape me in the it's serious. It's happened. So for me, my life was about not showing fear. So all this time I was doing that. Now I got Chloe. You know, it's 364 days in. I look at her and I say, yo, you got to get this money now. You got to get up for this baby, because if you don't, she's going to end up in a bad situation. So I was like, let's go, champ. I got up. I was fortunate too. I was doing a lot of research on CBD. I was doing a lot of research on PTSD and veterans coming back from war. And it was so ironic, because I grew up, I lived in a house, apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, and my uncle, my mother's brother, he had went off to Vietnam, I want to say in the 60s, and he was the only boy, so he didn't have to go, of 4 sisters and 3 sisters, and he went off to war, and then he went missing. And everyone was like, oh, he must have died, but he wound up showing up one day. A bus pulled up, they say, on Halsey Street in Brooklyn, and he came off the bus wearing a trench coat, nude under it, with combat military boots. And he came up on a big army bus. They put him out in front, and they say when they took him in the house, he was stark raving mad, insane. He had been missing. He was in a military hospital for a while. They were just about to send a flag to do a funeral for him. And now he shows up, and he's stark raving mad. They say he's ripping off every door in the house, ripping them all, boom, ripping off the door, ripping them, just single-handedly rip off the doors, because he didn't want. Wherever he was at, they had him in a cell. And he didn't go to Vietnam, literally. He went to Germany, but something happened with an officer, and he was thrown into like the stockade, and he went completely mad. They say he could have been drugged as well. He could have been drugged. This is what the story came out later to be. So growing up with him,
he becomes your roommate.
He's my uncle. I've known him. I was born in '71. He might have came home around that time. I'm not sure. And we literally live in the same room, And he was stark raving mad at times. He was alcoholic, and I grew up with him. But I loved him. But it was times when as I got older, I was saying, wait. My uncle ain't he crazy? I call him Ain't he. His name's Anthony. We call him Ain't he. And we say, my uncle ain't he crazy? And he would fight my mother sometime, and literally black her eyes, close both eyes. And it got to the point where one time I fought him. He was sleeping. I took a big spoon. It was like this. Back in the 70s, black people used to have like this big wooden spoon and a big wooden fork.
On the wall.
Yeah, on the wall.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah,
Let's go check. Yeah.
And you took it off and hit him?
I took it off, man. I was like 12 years old, man. I took it off. He was sleeping, snoring. And I took it off the wall, and my mom was in the hospital because he had beat her up like the day or two before, like in my house. And he was still laying there. I don't know why the cops didn't have him out. I don't know what happened. But I came in, he was sleeping. I hit him hard as I could, Brian, across the head. Boom, with the spoon. And it's broken too. And he did like this. And he went to kill me. And he chased me, Brian. I literally ran around the apartment. He was killing me. I made it out the door, and he probably killed me, and I ran. I loved him to the day he died, which was many, many years later. He was mentally sick, so I understood. I understood. I loved him. He was my uncle, literally. I looked like him. I'm the spitting image of him. So, growing up in those environments, the violence, the drug abuse, the alcohol, you know what I'm saying? I stored all that energy. I stored all that pain. Later on, it all started creeping out on me. I was drinking, I was partying, I was using party, hanging out to help me cure the pain. I'm missing my mom. Not really having friends growing up, having friends, associates, but no one really to have my back. Every time, someone I thought they had my back, they left me for dead.